Hello, just testing if you can hear me. This is Vice Mayor Wei Tai Kwok joining the meeting. Please let me know if you can hear me.
We can hear you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Got it. Why is I thought my screen.
Yeah.
Great.
You always have to keep.
And welcome to the Monday, September 9th City Council meeting. And we will start off here with a call to order. And by visual, there are 4 of us present, and Vice Mayor Kwok is remote, but I will take a roll call. Vice Mayor Kwok.
Present.
Councilmember Candell. Present. Councilmember Anduri.
Present.
Councilmember McCormick.
Present.
And I am present, Mayor Dawson. So we are all here. And now we will move to adoption of agenda.
I move adoption of the agenda.
I second. Thank you. I will take a roll call vote since Vice Mayor Kwok is remote. We'll do that just for the record. Vice Mayor Kwok.
Aye.
But Councilmember Candell. Aye. Councilmember Anduri.
Aye.
Councilmember McCormick.
Aye.
I'm an aye. We have adopted the agenda, and we will move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. And as it is the first of the months, I will read the City of Lafayette's Indigenous Land Acknowledgement Statement. We acknowledge that Lafayette is part of the unceded ancestral homeland of the Bay Miwok people. The Bay Miwok and neighboring Ohlone people have lived in and moved to this place for thousands of years. They stewarded and shaped this land for hundreds of generations. We express our appreciation and gratitude for this profound legacy, which enhances and contributes to our lives to this day. We will strive to honor this land and strengthen our ties with the Indigenous communities that continue to live and work in our East Bay region as our neighbors and community members. We acknowledge and honor them and their ancestors, elders, and next 7 generations. Thank you. Okay. And right now, I'd like to call for public comments for items not on this agenda. Are there any public comments?
Mayor Dawson, I have no speaker slips from, this is public, anything that's not on the agenda. Would you like to speak? Mario DePrisco, please come to the podium and you have 3 minutes. Turn on your mic, please.
My name is Mario DePrisco. I live at 3959 Happy Valley Road. Good evening, Mayor, council members, staff. As a candidate for council this November, I wanted to share that there's a series of house parties coming up where everyone is invited to come and ask questions, share their ideas, any of their concerns on city-related issues. Of course, that includes council members and staff. Time and dates for these parties are on my website, deprisco.org, diprisco.org. And if people can't attend, there's information and ways they can contact. On a separate note, like many residents, I'm excited for the Art and Wine Festival coming up, and I'm happy to see that the city will have a booth there. I've always felt like good outreach and communication is part of what makes Lafayette so special. So thank you all for that.
Thank you.
I have no additional speakers in the meeting hall. Is anyone in our virtual audience like to speak on an item that is not on the agenda? I have speaker Jeff Gilman. Go ahead, Jeff.
Welcome, Jeff.
Hi, I believe you can hear me, but
Yes.
do I have an opportunity for audio as well, or just video?
We can hear you, Jeff.
Okay, fine. Good enough. So my city council members, city manager Srivatsa and city clerk Robbins and other guests. I'm Jeff Gilman. I live on Old Jonas Hill Road in Lafayette. And since I wanted to attend tonight's meeting to hear a couple of the presentations that are coming up later, I thought I would also discuss some observations and opinions about Lafayette's electric leaf blower ordinance, which went into effect on July 1. First, in my neighborhood, I'd estimate that 80 to 90% of the commercial gardeners are still using gasoline-powered blowers. Second, this low adoption rate is not due to the lack of outreach on the city of Lafayette's part. I thought the city did an excellent and robust job of reaching out to our residents using different media outlets. Third, the electric blowers that commercial gardeners want to use is almost as noisy as the gasoline ones. So what's the reason for caring about the switch? I believe it's to lower emissions of fossil fuel combustion, which is a health concern for both gardeners and our neighbors and residents, and also to lower the emission of greenhouse gases. Finally, emissions for gasoline-powered lawnmowers are qualitatively as much as the leaf blowers. So why weren't they included in the ordinance? So just to wrap up, I recommend the city council forward my concerns to the Environmental Task Force, which is meeting this Thursday, and I believe has a standing item on their agendas to discuss the adoption of the electric leaf blower ordinance. Sad to say that I it seems like people really don't care. And I think the environmental task force and the council should try to get to the bottom of what are the reasons they don't care. Why is the adoption rate so poor? Thanks very much for your attention.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you for your contributions to our Creeks commissions over the years. Any other public comments?
I have no additional speakers, Mayor Dawson, at this time.
Thank you. I will take opportunity to make a public comment and just say a very big congratulations and thank you to our city clerk, Joanne Robbins, who celebrated her 30th anniversary last year working with the city of Lafayette. We are so fortunate to have you on our staff. You are exemplary across the region. So thank you very much.
I have an additional speaker, Linda Chabot.
Okay, that's fine.
Is that
When
okay?
it's still a little bit of your thunder, but that's okay.
Linda, go ahead.
Yeah, hey there. This is Linda DeChambeau. I'm a 34-year resident of Lumerinda, and I've been a commissioner appointee by D. Rosario to the East Bay Regional Park District, Ward 2 for the past 6 years. And some of you probably know I'm stepping up and running for election in the fall to represent Lafayette as your new director. I would also represent Moraga, Orinda, Oakland, and Piedmont. Since I'm already doing the work and I've already got 37 years of experience as an environmental scientist, and I'm a former mayor and council member up the hill in Moraga, 20-year union worker, and I've been helping local governments write climate action plans and general plans. The timing is perfect because the Park District is writing its general plan, its second century plan. So this is my life's work. I wasn't sure if I would have a chance to talk later. I was excited to see that your Creeks Commission is on the agenda as a presentation, but I just wanted to comment on that. I think it's really important for the agencies to cooperate on things like what's going on in Lafayette at the gazebo and with trail work and things like that. And I just want to let you know that my work, it's Superfund sites. I work with multi-agencies, multi-cities, and as a mayor, I know all about making sure also you guys have local control. So as we're facing all these climate pressures, I just I look forward to representing you to make sure that our general plan addresses climate pressures like drought, fire, sea level rise, all the issues we're facing, but also locally with creek sliding and trails usage in areas. So I am a science policy decision maker. I'd be the first one on the East Bay Regional Parks. Some of you have actually formally endorsed me. I just wanted to say hello. I look forward to seeing the Creeks Commission tonight, and Linda DeChambeau for East Bay Regional Park Ward 2. Thanks for everything that you guys do for our community, and thanks also to the Creeks Commission. Not all the cities have that, so I'm really grateful to Lafayette for having a Creeks Committee.
Thank you. Okay, are there any other public comments? No. Okay, thank you, Joanne. With that, we will move on to the next item, and that is the city manager's update.
Thank you so much. Good evening, members of the City Council and members of the community, both here and on the internet. Every 2 weeks, I present the activities of the city departments to the City Council and community. We've had a month's break, so my update will be a little longer. So I appreciate you bearing with me. Starting with the police and fire departments, on August the 27th, around noon, both the Lafayette PD and Consolidated Fire responded to a fire at Hunsaker Canyon. There were 2 Teslas on fire, and it appears that the fire started with one of the vehicles and spread to the other. And Con Fire responded very quickly. It was a very grassy, dry area, which could have outcome could have been much, much worse. The batteries on one of the Teslas continued to flare up, requiring that Con Fire stayed on scene for several hours. And the city did issue a Nixle alert on that incident, but all is well. At the library, we've started a demolition project in the Seaborg Gardens, which is right in adjacent to the checkout counter. We've had some leakages, and so the patio paving materials are going to be removed. It's going to be waterproofed, and we're looking forward to a much more usable space in the future. From the planning department, the Terraces of Lafayette project was approved in 2020, and it involved the removal of trees to construct the 315 apartments. Tree removal will start this week to prepare the site for full-scale mobilization and mass grading in the spring of 2025. On the applications front, the city has received 13 SB 9 applications to date this year. And this time last year, we had received 10 applications. As far as ADUs or accessory dwelling units, it's 32 applications year to date. This time last year, we had 22 applications. And the total number of applications for development year to date is 203. And this time last year, we had received 180 applications. So an uptick in development activity. From the Public Art Committee, the committee is excited to announce that the fall poetry for all the ages, a salon-style poetry reading, will be held at the Town Hall Theatre on Tuesday, October the 29th at noon. It's free and open to the public. And if you're a local poet, please consider sharing your work with us at this fall-themed event. You can go to the city's website and search for public art, and it will lead you to the sign up for this event. And finally, some exciting news from the state. Last week, Senator Glazer announced the creation of the ADU Accelerator Program. It's a pilot program, a one of its kind. He created it to encourage the construction of hundreds of accessory dwelling units in Contra Costa County and Alameda counties in the cities that fall within his district. He obtained through the state $2.5 million for this initiative. And the goal is for all these cities to together construct a minimum of 350 ADUs. What does this mean for Lafayette? We are eligible to receive up to $50,000 towards preparing prototypical permit-ready ADU plans, which will include design, elevations, and construction drawings. And these free permit-ready plans will be available on our website to anyone who wishes to build an ADU on their property. So it's a savings for homeowners who wish to take advantage of pre-approved and permit-ready plans. Additionally, the city can participate in an ADU incentive program by offering individual rebates of up to $15,000 to property owners, $15,000 to property owners who obtain building permits to construct an ADU and complete it within 18 months of building permit issuance. The amount of rebate depends on the size of the ADU. The smaller the ADU, the bigger the rebate, and whether or not it will be deed restricted to lower income households. We've just received notification of the program, and we will soon have it on our website for people to look at and to start applying. And that's the end of my presentation.
Thank you. That was exciting news. We saw Senator Glazer last Thursday at the mayor's conference, and it's really wonderful that work to promote that. Okay, are there any public comments on the city manager's update?
I see no public comments at this time, either in the meeting hall or the Zoom participants.
All right, thank you. I assume Vice Mayor Kwok, by the way, do you have any public at your location?
No, there are no members of the public at my location.
Okay, thank you for confirming. All right, we will move on to presentations,
Going
starting,
to
oh, I'm sorry.
promote Karina.
Yes, please.
Karina, you're being promoted to a panelist. Here she comes.
Welcome, Karina.
Would you
Good,
like?
good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm so happy to be here with all of you. Nice to be here to talk about the work that we're doing in our territories. And I'm wondering, do I have permission to share my screen?
Yes, you do, Karina.
Okay, great.
Now, while you share the screen, neither you or Wei Tai will be on the screen.
Okay,
Okay, just so you know.
all righty. Let me see if I can do this. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. I just wanted to say, Horshe Tuhi Ka'at Lashanka Ka'at Ra'at Karina. My name is Karina Gould. I'm the tribal chair of the Confederated Villages of Lashawn Nation. I'm so honored to be asked to come and speak on behalf of my tribal people and to talk a little bit about the work that we have been doing at Segurite Land Trust as well. Segurite Land Trust is the first urban Indigenous women-led land trust in the country, and it happens to be based in our traditional territory. I like to start off my presentation with this beautiful photo that you all probably know very well. This is Mount Tushtak. Tushtak is the beginning place of our tribal people. It is our ceremonial place. It is the mountain that we are born to. And for thousands and thousands of years, our tribal people, our ancestors, only our most holy people could go to the very top of this mountain. And people from all of the different four directions of this mountain would come and gather at the foot of this mountain while those ceremonies took place. And for thousands and thousands of years, we learned about the story of our creation that came from the top of this mountain. As many people's creation stories start at the flood, so does ours. This mountain was named Tushtek. It's this special place for all of these years. And then it was changed to Mount Diablo. And Mount Diablo was changed because people that were chasing my ancestors to the foot of this hill as they were running from the Spanish soldiers disappeared. And there's many different stories that go about this mountain, but some of them believe that our ancestors were pulled up by the devil itself and was taken away. And that's why it's called Mount Diablo. Other stories are about when Spanish soldiers were in a river area, a water area, and in the fog, my ancestors disappeared and they could see their lights and they thought that they were spirits that were roaming around. In any case, our great mountain that is a sacred place to us has become a place of enjoyment for people of all walks of life. And one day we hope that it will return to the name of Tushtak, a place of reverence for our people. We are the Confederated Villages of Lashawn Nation, a nation of people that are brought in from 5 different counties in the Bay Area. Our tribal territory encompasses Alameda, Contra Costa, San Joaquin, parts of Napa and Solano counties along the waterway. We are the people that have been chosen from this very middle part where it's brown is Mount Tushtak. We believe in our creation stories that each of these tribal people were sent off in those 4 directions in order to take care of the lands and waters. And we still believe that it's our responsibility to do that. Unfortunately, when the Spanish soldiers came, they changed that place for us. But still, there are remnants of our existence all over the Bay Area. And sometimes we can't see it because we are in cities that are built upon, and there's nothing that signifies that Loney or Bay Miwok or Plains Miwok or Delta Yokut people are still here. But in 1909, Nels Nelson created a map. Now, he worked at UC Berkeley, and he knew that these places that were all along the bay were important places. These places that have numbers that signify them are shell mounds, the burial sites and village sites of our ancestors. And in 1909, as development was happening quite rapidly, he found over 425 of them, these village sites that held our ancestral remains for thousands of years. We were fishing villages, and we had tule boats, and we would go out onto the bay quite rapidly as we can get across on these really fast canoes. Our ancestors lived in abundance, a place where there was never hunger or homelessness. There were no such words in our language for those things. But over the years, our shell mounds were destroyed, like the one in Emeryville, the largest of the 425 shell mounds. Then we can see in this picture that there is a steam shovel in the back as archaeologists and anthropologists from UC Berkeley are watching it being taken down. Layer after layer, 3 stories high, that our ancestors had hundreds, if not thousands, of our human remains there. We always had our shell mounds and village sites where fresh water met salt water, and the Temescal Creek runs through here as it goes into the bay. Today, this little tiny mound at the bottom represents those thousands and thousands of years of living and praying and working at this site. And it's what now is called Bay Street Mall in Emeryville. Because of the hundreds of shell mounds and sites that were being destroyed in the Bay Area, there was a need for us to do something different, a need for the Segorite Land Trust to be created, the first urban Indigenous women-led land trust in the country. And why would this needed? Because Lashon people have no land base. In the many years that we had been fighting development from destroying our sites, we had to ask permission from park districts and private landowners in order to have our ceremonies, in order to gather our traditional medicines, that there was no place that we owned collectively or even singly. There were only, up until recently, there were only 2 homeowners that were Lashon people, the first people of this land, to own anything. No churches, no places of worship, no stores, no homes, that we had become virtually homeless in our own homelands. So rematriation is the work that we decided to take on. And rematriation means to restore a living culture to its rightful place on Mother Earth, or to restore a people to a spiritual way of life in sacred relationship with their ancestral lands, without external interference. As a concept, rematriation acknowledges that our ancestors lived in spiritual relationship with our lands for thousands of years, and that we have a sacred responsibility or duty to maintain that relationship for the benefit of future generations. But what does rematriation look like? And why is it an Indigenous women's work? Over the many years that men have been in charge of land, we have seen people die in wars. We have seen the desecration of our Mother Earth as things are extracted from her. We have seen the sacred being taken away, and we have seen women's leadership demolished in our own homelands. And so it was about thinking, how do we bring these ideas back? How to remember the lands and the waters and the airs that take care of all of us, now every single one of us that live in our territory. And so the idea of coming together as women leaders from all walks of life was created to protect not only shell mounds and sacred sites, but to reimagine what it would look like. California is a very new place. Everything that we see built here is less than 200 years old. The streets, the buildings, the sidewalks, and yet there's still underneath all of this pavement are creeks and waterways, a way for us to come back to being human beings again. And so our first piece of land was given back to us in 2016. And this first piece of land is this 1/4 acre of land where these people are standing, not the entire site, but this 1/4 acre of land that was returned to us by a nonprofit called Planting Justice. They had gone to Standing Rock in 2016 and was removed by all of the ceremony and prayer and the Indigenous people that came together, and were told by the elders there that they should work with the First Nation people on whose land they're on. And they took that to heart. You see, this place is in deep East Oakland where people generally forget about. It's about right near the culverted creek of the LaShawn Creek. Right here, the 880 freeway behind it is on fill. And about a half a block from this place, a shell mound was destroyed in order to build that place. All around us in urban areas, we see places that we don't know exist. We are unaware in our own built environment that there are sacred places that are here. On that first piece of land, we created the first arbor in our territory in 250 years, a place for us to pray without outside interference. This is the women's log that's going up. We put in a men's log, an elder's log, a children's log, and a two-spirit non-binary log. Two concentric circles that bring us together in form of prayer, bringing together everyone that now lives in our territories. This place has become a place where we can come and gather, a place for us to have fires when our relatives pass away, a place of celebration. I married my daughter and her husband here during COVID. We've had birthday parties and we've invited people from all different parts of the world to be welcomed into our territory on this land. We've introduced California native plants and have worked with people from all walks of life to restore our language and our culture again. To think that the land and the air and the waters that we all live near have not heard the language of this land for almost 100 years, and that we are revitalizing that language so that they can stop yearning for that, to hear those words again. Working with elders and young people to revitalize the work with tule and with other medicinal plants that we have. We are creating hamekas in our territory, a place where we all stand strong together. On each of the land sites that we create places for man-made and natural-made disasters where there's fresh food and fresh water, first aid kits, and places for people to be safe in case of those disasters, not only for Indigenous people, but for the neighborhoods that are around us. Because part of our teachings as Indigenous people is to ensure that not only are we taken care of, but our guests are taken care of as well. We take care of the land and the land takes care of us, bringing people together to work the land, to take care of it, to grow foods and medicines that as our ancestors did, to take care of the next generation of young people and to remind them that they are also connected to these lands and waters. We've worked with city governments throughout the Bay Area. The city of Berkeley recognized on its city streets that it was on Ohlone territory and changed its signage coming into the city that says, "Welcome to the city of Berkeley, Ohlone territory." During the George Floyd uprising, when people were putting Black Lives Matter on their streets, they also decided to put Ohlone territory on their streets as well. We've worked together with thousands and thousands of people from all walks of life and all spiritual backgrounds to save and protect the West Berkeley Shell Mound, the oldest village site and burial site of my ancestors on 4th and University, that this place was connected to our stories of why we should be there. And although it looks built upon and it looks like a parking lot, the waterways used to come right up into this area, with Strawberry Creek running right across it, and salmon and steelhead trout going all the way up the way past UC Berkeley. That this place is aligned with our cosmology stories that tells us who we are. That at one time, Alcatraz Island was a place that no one could go to, and that our ancestors went there to rest as spirits when they passed away. And while we had ceremony on this side, they waited for us. And as the sun sets and the fire goes out on that 4th day, we believe our ancestors traveled through the Western Gate, a place we now know as Golden Gate Bridge. There are all these places that we see today and don't recognize the sacredness of our lands. We were joined together by all walks of life that prayed for this place to be protected, that came and joined us to put prayers on fences that was put up around it. And we gathered together in thousands to do that work before COVID and during COVID and afterwards. People from Aztec dancers and Korean drummers, Hawaiian singers and Tibetan chanters, people that were Jewish and Muslim and Christian, all prayed here together. walking together and working with our Japanese relatives from the Nippon Mahoji Buddhist monk sect to walk and to protect our sacred sites over years of dedication. And people from the Amazon came up and offered their prayers as well. We are putting together, working with migrant communities that put together flower lay that they put on the fences as we were locked out of our site during COVID. And we dreamt together of this beautiful imagination of what this site could be. If we could reimagine Strawberry Creek opening up, an arbor to have ceremony, a cultural center where people can come together, where every fourth grader in the Bay Area that have to learn about our people could actually have a destination to go to, a place that not talks about only the horrific history, but the resiliency of a people and a people that work together with everyone that now lives in our territory. We worked with the city of Richmond to recreate a park that is called Oakway. Oakway means medicine in our territory. This was the very first place in the Bay Area that worked with our tribal people to allow us to grow our traditional medicines and foods that we wanted, that we are the only ones that could actually gather there, that we could open it up to have community events for people to talk about our history, a place where our tribal people can come and meet together, a place that is in connection with Segurite Land Trust that works and takes care of this land in collaboration with the city of Richmond. During COVID, we also changed the name from Andrew Jackson Park, a known Indian killer, to Chochenyo Park, educating the public about the language that was first here on our lands, a way for us to talk about not only the history, but the resiliency again. And Alameda was one of the first cities to actually pay Shumi, a voluntary tax, to the work of rematriation. And the city of Albany raised its flag over the city. The Confederated Villages of LaShawn, elders and young people came together on this day to celebrate the victory of having us recognized again in our territory. And the city of Oakland returned 4.2 acres of land in the Oakland Hills, a place where we imagine having a different kinds of a cultural center, a way for us to talk to people about reimagining this woodland. How do we make sure that it's fire resistant? And how do we pass on that work to the rest of Joaquin Miller Park so that all citizens are free from those kinds of dangers? Imagining that we come together under a basket that's designed after a basket that is held at the British Museum, a basket that my ancestors made 500 years ago that represents us all being held in one place. We are the Confederated Villages of LaShawn Nation. We look like everyone else that now lives in our territory. We come together to do this work, not just for ourselves, but for the future generation of all people that now live in our territory.
Wow. Corinne, thank you. That is a presentation, very educational, showing the resilience, unity, and the hope of us all working together to recognize, what you're putting forward. So thank you so much, and the work of so many people of so many different backgrounds to honor that history. Thank you very much for that presentation.
Thank you.
I'm going to welcome any questions or comments from council.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Karina. It was excellent hearing the presentation. I'd like to provide some context and why we're actually talking about this. This is part of still the ripples coming from the Land Acknowledgement Task Force that last year was chartered by then Mayor Anduri to consider the land acknowledgement statement that a city such as Lafayette might read, and you heard it today from Mayor Dawson. And I want to also acknowledge the members of the task force that are here. Steve Caligaros, Mary McCosker, Janet Thomas, Narup helped a lot. And one of the things we want to do, in addition to doing the land acknowledgement statement, which I believe is really beautiful and true to the spirit of Lafayette and who we aspire to be, is also other kinds of things like education, like this presentation, which is phenomenal to see. We want to have, we have land acknowledgement posted at the corner of Mount Diablo and Lafayette Circle. So invisible for everybody to see. We have we have an alternate sign that actually honors Trishtak instead of Mount Diablo. And we have other things coming, educational signs that are going to be mounted. And this is all coming from the city chartered citizen task force that worked with elders like Karina and others to make sure that we did right by understood the implication and want to make sure that we honored the contributions appropriately. So thank you.
Thank you. I just want to mention you also were part of that task force, so thank you for that as well. Okay, thank
I
you.
wanted to chime in also, if you can hear me, and to thank Ms. Gold for being with us this evening and sharing those wonderful stories. I personally love learning about the history of what happened of Lafayette before we were incorporated in 1968 and going back years and years. And I think the work that you're doing here and tonight to share those stories with the citizens of Lafayette and really enrich our understanding and appreciation of our community. So thank you so much for your time and sharing tonight with our community. And I look forward to continuing to do more together.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, but Councilmember
Yeah,
Gray.
I also want to acknowledge John and the task force for all the work they did here. And I'm hoping we have a recording of this presentation that we can put on our website. Great, because I think this is a wonderful first step in educating our community and making people more aware of what was here and what is here now and what can be. So thank you very much for being with us this evening.
Yes, thank you. And also getting involved, because it sounds like, this is something not just in Lafayette, but that can have a wider audience where we can get engaged in the city as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I look forward to more conversations together, more work together. Thank you so much.
Public comments, anyone? Any speaker slips? Yeah. Mary Jo Cass, please come to the podium.
Good evening, Mayor Dawson and members of the council. I found this presentation to be very inspiring, and congratulations. Congratulations to Karina Gould and to the Indigenous Women's Land Trust. It's truly exciting. I am a member of the Lafayette Creeks Committee, and I'm not speaking for the whole committee because we haven't agendized this, but speaking as an individual, I hope that we can collaborate with you more in the future, because we know that there were settlements along our creeks in Lafayette, and that the people that lived here built Thule boats and went out to the Carquinez Straits and fished and brought back huge fish back to the settlements in this area. And to this day, there are Thule reeds along the reservoir in Lafayette. So it's kind of fun to imagine what life might have been like then. So thank you very much. And I hope we as a city can find multiple ways to support this effort. And I hope we can collaborate more in the future. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary Jo. Any more public comments? I see Steve
yes.
standing.
I have Steve Caligaris.
Hi, my name's Steve Caligaris. I just had a quick question for Karina. Could you tell us a little more detail about where things stand with the Oakland property, the property in the Oakland Hills that Segurite Trust was a part of, and sort of where things stand with what's happening there?
Yeah, thank you so much for the question. We are currently taking care of land, trying to take out invasive species. We have a 30 by 30 grant that we are working on with the state to try to work on what the pre-plan is for the development of that site. Right now, we are in the midst of looking, bringing in tree experts to determine which trees are sick and which trees need to come down. How do we take care of that? We're also working with CAL FIRES to look at a mitigation plan in order for us to make it fire resilient. So those are the first parts of it. And of course, there's some engineering issues that have to happen with it. There's some safety concerns that we need to deal with. There's asphalt that's on the land that's over 40 years old that needs to be taken up or replaced. So there's a lot of different things that happen with it. But right now, we have a wonderful crew of volunteers that come out at least twice a month, helps us to start to take out some of those invasive plants or displaced relatives, as we call them, relatives that came here from other places that don't that are more prone to catch fire and cause us problems. So we're looking at all of those kinds of things right now. We're looking at creating a way for us to figure out how to get water up there. So there's a lot of planning in the process right now, but if you'd like to come up and help us to figure out how to take care, if you want to come up and figure out how to be engaged, we'd love to have you come up and take part in any of the land bases that we have right now. We have multiple land bases. We're always looking for volunteers. And so welcome lots of hands to do that work.
Thank you for that answer.
Our last speaker is Linda Deschambeau. Go ahead, Linda.
Yes, hi, Karina. I am just so thrilled to see this presentation. I, as an EPA employee, worked with the tribal department for quite a bit, the Washoe community in Lake Tahoe, and 6 years on the Parks Advisory Committee for the East Bay Regional Park as we celebrate their 90-year anniversary. I must say I'm quite disappointed. We have not got a park that has been specifically named or renamed in the honor of the first people. And it's an issue that I've brought up many times, 6 years on the Parks Advisory Commission, that in addition to a land acknowledgement, to follow those words with action and how we do that. And I'd love to know how to reach you. I've tried to reach out through Facebook and emails and things. And I know that I'm appointed to Dee Rosario, who's retiring. And if I get elected, or even if I don't, I'd like to pursue. I do understand there's some conversation going on, but what can we do to pursue that? I know there's always a balance too between involving too many outsider people, that it needs to be done, in the proper way. I'm actually also a certified herbalist in medicine, and I tread so softly on the respect and honor of the local ways, and not just thinking that I can come in and become a certified herbalist after 10,000 years. And so I just wanted to let you know, I've been trying to reach you. How can we reach you? And I would love to know, I'm a former mayor also, we take mitigation monies all the time for when we disrupt creeks and things. And I think that your land trust is such a new concept to some, but how could we get that word out? And maybe that's even an option for how do people donate? And can you tell us more, not only how to reach you, but more about the opportunity for supporting with dollars?
Yeah, thank you so much, Linda. I'm sorry that we haven't gotten, you haven't been able to get a hold of me. info@rematriatetheland.org is the best. And I have multiple staff members looking at that, but also, most importantly, my assistant Sharon will answer those emails. So info@rematriatetheland.org is the best way to get a hold of me and to get on my calendar. Yes, and thank you so much. How do you help? And a lot of people that live in our territories, because I said our territories are kind of vast, 5 counties. How do we help to do this work of rematriation? And we have come up with an amazing way. If you go to segoritelandtrust.org on our website, there is a little mechanism called Shumi, and Shumi in our language means a gift. And we ask people that live, work, or play in our territory to pay an honorary tax to help with this rematriation effort of creek restoration, like you said, or land revitalization, or language and cultural revitalization, all of those kinds of things. And it's real easy to go on, and it just asks you a few questions, whether you own or rent, and how many bedrooms you have, and it kind of helps you figure out honorary tax. And so that is really instrumental in helping us to do the work that we do in our territory. So thank you for asking that question. And really, we're looking for volunteers all the time to send out thank you cards or to do some work that we're doing on hamekas that we are creating, or to actually help us to plant or to gather. So absolutely lots of opportunities. We also will work with getting groups out to different pieces of land that we're working on. We're currently working with a group in Pinole that's doing some creek restoration, and we just had our land team go out there today to do some. We're working on local creeks, and we're hoping to open up Strawberry Creek along in West Berkeley on the West Berkeley Shell Mound area. And so all of those things, if the people have expertise in any kind of area that they think might be helpful, to please reach out to us. So thank you for those questions, Linda.
I have one last speaker.
Thanks for the answers, Karina. Okay, one more speaker.
Maine Hernandez, please come to the podium. And I think that's my last card. So if anyone else wants to speak.
Hi, greetings. My name is Marie Hernandez. I serve as the director of the Friendship House Association of American Indians in San Francisco, and I'm the lodge director at the Women's Lodge in Oakland. And I just want to thank the city leaders in here for having Karina Gold here. She's such an amazing woman, and I've had the privilege of working with her on several projects. And just having the representation, especially in a big city like Lafayette, is just so profound. And yes, education is definitely where it starts. A lot of our history has never been told. And so to just have this wonderful presentation and to have just so much support and everything from all these different ways, you know, it's just amazing to hear. And I do work on the committee for the City of Berkeley. They are the first city in the United States to recognize Columbus Day as Indigenous Peoples Day. And it's, again, first in the country to do this. And the organization that I work for, we're a drug and rehabilitation for Native Americans that address women and children in recovery. And again, only one in the United States that has these type of services. And so I just want to again just thank you for all your work in the public. And I served on the board for the Intertribal Friendship House for 15 years. And I know how important it is to have community and have this togetherness. And that's what Native American culture is all about, having community and being together and working together. And it all starts with the land. So again, just want to thank you so much and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ray, for being here and your comments.
No additional speakers, Mayor Dawson.
All right. Thank you again, Karina. It was a real pleasure to listen to your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we will move on to our next presentation, which is our Creeks Committee annual update. Welcome.
Go Niners. Thank you for the jersey tonight.
Thank you, Mayor Dawson, Vice Mayor Kwok, council members, for giving us the opportunity to report on our progress over the past year and give you hopefully a glint of what we anticipate doing next year. I'm David Clark. I'm the co-chair. Will Elder, as you know, is the chair. He's not able to be here tonight. I think he's off investigating exotic creek possibilities somewhere out in the world. And Chris Lee is also not here tonight. If you add those up, that's a total of 6. We're short one person, and hopefully we can give an exhilarating performance or something. Anyway, report today, and if anyone is interested in becoming a member of the Creeks Committee, then please consider it. And there are application forms and the processes outlined on the city's website. What we thought we wanted to thank, let's see, we're down one member because we lost Austin Payne. I mean, there have been others in the past, but Austin was actually on the Creeks Committee at the time the Downtown Creeks Plan was adopted, which goes back quite a way. And so the only person who's still remaining in that status as well, and he's not here tonight. We wanted to thank Austin for his many years of service on the committee, providing expertise in engineering and habitat restoration in particular. And what we wanted to do tonight, I know you've got a copy of this printed material, and I know you can read it, and you probably already have, but what we wanted to do is we're going to split this up into well, 4 pieces, and each of the committee members are going to present a couple of those parts, and that's in part that's because committee members have understandably gravitated toward one project or another, and hopefully the reports are lined up that same way. So with that, I'll turn it over to Ron Huff.
I'm Ron Huft. I am on the committee, as David said, and I am the committee's representative to the Walnut Creek Watershed Council, where I spend considerable time and am on the board of that council. And in addition to doing the Watershed Council work, which is widespread and diverse, having to do with the full Watershed Council, and that full watershed, our watershed, Los Trampas, of course, is one of 5 sub-watersheds of the Walnut Creek Watershed. Among other things there, I do what I can to see that the resources that are available through that council that Lafayette gets its share, and we've had market success with that in this last year. First part of that was there is a home development going in on part of Old Jonas Creek that it requires some mitigation, and the San Francisco Regional Water Quality Control Board, the water board as we call it, assessed an amount of $20,000, which amount will be received by our committee for future work. It will be subject to some restrictions in terms of use by the committee, but experience has shown that we can live with that. We already have some prospective ideas as to how to spend portions of that money. The current ideas is we'd like to come up with some long-range restoration planning for Lee Creek Site Park, LCP, and gazebo site. And by long range, I don't mean a year or two. We're talking about decades, something 20, 30, maybe 50 years out. And it is our hope to use some of those funds for that purpose. And it looks like in terms of budgetary things, we can do that. The other area is that the Watershed Council received a grant from the California Department of Fish and Wildlife for $106,000 to be used to hire an experienced contractor, Helix has worked here before, to eradicate difficult arundo sites in various places. And under that grant, 8 sites were approved. 5 of the 8 were in Lafayette. And of the $106,000 total, about $45,000 of that total is now being spent in Lafayette. We've completed in the last about 3 weeks virtually all of that eradication. The last site left is one on city property, actually, and it's up on Camino Diablo, where your utility yard is. On the far western end of that property up there, there is the Mundo patch. And we're going to take that on tomorrow morning and get that out. Just a footnote, and I think probably all of you know that from experience, we eradicate these Arundo patches the best we can, but it's an ongoing process. You clear it first, you treat it with herbicide, et cetera, but it takes 4 or 5 years of constant effort to finally get it entirely taken away. Gazebo site now is finally gone after 3 or 4 years, so it does take that effort. To my best knowledge, when these sites are done, the only remaining Arundo and Lafayette would be a couple small patches near the intersection of Pleasant Hill Road and Olympic on that bank side, but all the ones central in town now, certainly Gazebo and Westreach, are now gone as long as we maintain that effort. My word, yes.
And in conjunction with Ron was explaining, I've been active with the collection of volunteers for our community days, as well as proposed other work days that we're trying to support the restoration and cleaning up of the 7 main creeks in Lafayette. We've had excellent responses. I think our last community day, we had over 30 volunteers, and we split them amongst the West Reach, which is the Lafayette Creek across from the Veterans Hall down on Mount Diablo, and then the gazebo area that Ron was referring to, which is, a nice flat area where the the two creek, what creek come in? Is that
Lafayette or Los Trampos?
Las Trampas on the verge, yeah. And then Lee's Creekside is a park on Moraga, off of Moraga Road. And so it's been very rewarding, and we're excited about it, especially in 2025. In addition to working, during the community days, we're going to try to introduce a springtime work day specifically for our projects. And, it's if you haven't been out to see, you can really see the project, especially Lee Creekside and West Reach. We're trying to replant and water and keep them alive. So.
Hi, Mary Jo Cass. A few of the things that we've accomplished this past year is we reviewed and edited the creek maintenance guide on the city's website. And this is to provide updated information to property owners along the creek. Another point that we've done, we began scheduling guest presentations at our meetings on creek-related topics. So, for example, in March, we had someone from the Public Art Committee present ideas for creek-related art. In April, we had East Bay Regional Parks District representatives explain to us what's going to happen with the Briones to Las Trampas trail repair. Which, by the way, last I've heard is they have promised to start this any day now to make a temporary repair, unless other members of the city leadership have heard differently. But our hopes are very high that the temporary repair can begin any day. And then the following year is when the permanent repair is scheduled for that trail. This is a trail right across from Lee Creekside Park. And when the permanent repair is finished, that is when the public will regain access to the trail. So we had reports from East Bay Regional for that. We also invited Friends of Salso Creek. Salso Creek, for those who might not know, is a huge watershed in Oakland, and it's a huge project with lots of funding, and a very exciting presentation was given to us. We also have invited a representative from the Contra Costa Resource Conservation District, Lisa Demerol, and she explained the mission of her organization, that they do volunteer cleanup and restoration. They have an agriculture program for a healthy soils program. They oversee and collaborate with groups for 8 area watersheds, so it's a huge geographic span for them. And they also have a monarch butterfly conservation program. So very exciting things that they're doing. In October, we hope to invite John Zentner with the Restoration Trust to present the design for the Lee Creekside Park riparian area. So that's the area we're working on, is the riparian area for the restoration. Another thing that we've done are the creek fund facts, which we've included in the weekly roundup about once a month, to try to raise awareness and appreciation for the creeks in our area. So some of the topics that we've tackled in about 2 or 3 sentences each month is, what is a riparian area? Or why do creeks tend to meander? Why are creek setbacks important? And what is a drop structure in a creek? So these are a few topics that we've addressed. Down the road, we hope to plan and to host a public workshop for property owners along the creek. We haven't decided on a date, but we're going to begin to collaborate with Ann Riley, who is with the California Urban Streams Partnership. Her office has received numerous phone calls from Lafayette residents asking about creek bank stabilization issues. And she suggested a workshop for Lafayette property owners who live next to creeks. The Contra Costa Resource Conservation District has organized workshops like this in the past, and they distribute flyers and knock on doors. And there's a PowerPoint presentation called The Do's and Don'ts for Stream Bank Stabilization. So it's an exciting opportunity that our Creeks Committee is going to discuss and hopefully host down the road. So I think that's the extent of my comments. Thank you.
We got funding for the West Reach project, as I'm sure you all know. And we took glamorous pictures of all the folks that were there. There was a short ceremony, and Congressman Mark DeSaulnier presented this highly negotiable check. Actually, a piece of styrofoam, but it is for $900,000, and the money is allocated toward the West Reach project portion of the Downtown Creeks. And obviously, there's going to be quite a bit. It's a first step. There's going to be quite a bit of work involved to actually make that happen, and that's what's going to. We're going to be working on that, obviously, along with the city. Oh, I'm sorry. But one thing I did want to point out, it's not in these notes, and I think the city manager and the city attorney are much more adept at this than we are. But there are two things I want to make sure that are on the table anyway. One is a concept of making sure that that money is, what's the word? I've forgotten the word now. No. It is obligated. The funds need to be obligated, and that's an important concept. And I'm not sure what that means. And the city does, and we'll make sure that that happens, because what can happen with federal money, if it's not obligated, somebody come along and say, well, you didn't obligate it, you didn't need it, we're going to take it back. So, and I'm not sure exactly what the obligation is. I don't know if it's a receipt of the funds. It's obviously not the completion of the project, because that's years down the road. But the second concept that we need to keep in mind too is what time constraints are on the use of that money. And again, I don't know what those are. It wasn't part of the Creeks Committee's participation in terms of what the details were, but I'm sure there are restrictions on both when the money has to, how much time we have to spend the money, and maybe even when we have to start spending. Those kinds of things we need to keep track of, because $900,000, it'd be a shame to lose that. I'm sure no one wants to. So in any event, then the future part of that plan, of that item, is that we'll continue to work with the city staff to initiate work on the West Reach project with these funds that were provided by through Congressman DeSaulnier's efforts or assistance. And it may not be enough money. It's more than enough that was in the Downtown Creeks plan, but that was adopted in 2017. And as we all know, a lot of things have changed since then. So if it's not enough, then what the Creeks Committee is going to do is try to work on grants to augment the funding if necessary. You talked about the fun facts, and I think, yep, and we talked about that. Well, go ahead.
I left something out. And that is great thanks to David Clark here, because he attends city meetings on our behalf and monitors items on the agendas of other committees and commissions in the city to make sure that we're all collaborating and on the same playing field. And one of our members, Christine Lee, is not able to attend tonight, but she is our liaison to GPAC, and we're very grateful to her for her efforts as well. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for your indulgence and patience. The last item is that one of the things we're going to continue to do in the future is to monitor the progress with Lafayette's tree protection ordinance. And as you may not know, that was the changes to that. Some of the changes to that anyway, not all, but some of the changes to that were part of the Downtown Creeks plan, which was adopted in 2017. So we see it as our mandate to try to make sure that what was in the Downtown Creeks plan is at least considered in terms of the changes to the tree protection ordinance that are being considered now. So we'll continue to monitor that and work with council and staff on hopefully making that happen. And that's, unless somebody has something else, what we have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here for that presentation. I'm going to open it up for questions and comments from council.
Questions and comments?
Yes, it's presentation.
All right. Well, I'll just comment. I just want to say, I think this is probably the model committee within Lafayette, not just because they get great results, which you've heard here. I mean, the story with the Arundo is just amazing. I mean, who would have thought we'd have such progress on the Arundo is just great. And Ron, you've taken the lead on that. Thank you very much. Yeah, no, it's just amazing. I mean, we wouldn't have thought that possible, but it's great. Yeah, thank you. And just all the other things the group has done. I'm really looking forward to it's the West Reach Catalyst project, and it's Catalyst for a reason. It's going to demonstrate what can be done in restoring creeks, and it'll be a great entryway to our downtown. So it's a model committee because it gets results, but it's also a committee where every single person on the committee contributes, has projects, does them. They meet once a month, but they're all active in between the meetings. It's not a matter of showing up for the meeting and going away and then coming back the next month. This is a group that works throughout the month on all these things that benefit us. And we've got even greater insights tonight on why these creeks are so important to us. So I like the idea of looking forward as to, what we do with the funds, because the creeks really, I think it's 16 miles of creeks that we have in Lafayette, and it's just a great opportunity for us there's even more we can do, but thank you for all that you're doing.
Councilmember McCormick.
Yeah. Oops. There. So I want to, I don't have a, hello. This is a little better. Anyway, so I have to echo Councilmember Nduri's comments. Amazing committee, amazing work you guys do. It's phenomenal. I want a couple of things that I'm going to call out that I saw in the report, plus what you spoke here today. I think the idea of leveraging Community Day, and I think you saw the outpouring of love that we have for the creeks, but we just need to
And I don't know if you can hear me now, but I just want to say that I cannot hear from the Councilmember McCormick and Councilmember Candell onwards. It sort of dropped out the sound, so have not been able to hear for about 2 minutes. Okay, it's back now. I can hear right now again.
Thank you. We can hear you as well now, and your hand is removed, so that's great. So I'll let you know if you want to make a comment. I'll be on the lookout for that.
No, thank you. That's fine. It's a great presentation.
It was good. Thank you. We're moving on to the consent calendar, and looking, does anyone have anything they want to approve? Consent calendar as well. Anyone in the public? Right. Second. Thank you. I'll take the roll call vote. Vice Mayor Fox.
Aye.
Councilmember Kendall. Aye. Councilmember Adjournment. Aye. Councilmember McCormick. Aye. And I'm an aye. The consent calendar is approved. And now we will move on, since there is no old business, to staff reports, starting with Madison Leonard. And item A. Madam, can you get some here? Ready when you are. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Madison Leonard. I'm the planning technician with the planning department. Tonight, I will be showing you a brief presentation on residential. Before I begin, I would like to say I know the structure of the start off with a background on the topic of the reference to the agenda. Then I will discuss the review of residential and residential under the Lafayette Municipal Code and discuss the two sections that may be applicable. I will close out the presentation. July 22nd, the city council. Ordinance describes allowing unsupervised work party of up to 100 people in a neighborhood. Complaints of smoking and high fire severity and alcohol consumption, excessive vehicles, and possible emergency access issues also listed as concerns. Following the meeting, the city council directed staff to evaluate the temporary rental of residential amenities against the applicable codes and ordinances and provide an update on how the city regulates such uses. One of the platforms that homeowners can use to rent residential amenities is called Sprinklr.com. The website allows homeowners to rent amenities such as backyards, swimming pools, or sport parks together. Homeowner can establish rules for use, the hourly rates, and how many people are permitted on site. As As a consumer of the product, you can search for nearby listings, explore their features, read reviews, and submit a request for rentals. Circular's website contains a neighbors community page recommending good neighbor practices that a host can adopt, along with a method for lodging complaints against a host violating these practices. There are other websites such as fearsafe.com that offer a similar product. Regardless of the platform, the activities promoted through the sites are the same, a commercial use within a residential. As requested, staff reviewed the applicable codes and ordinances to determine how the city regulates such uses. The rental of amenities is an activity conducted as a means of livelihood or an expectation of profit. In other words, a commercial use. We found two sections which may apply to this type of use. Staff has evaluated this use for conformance with Lafayette Municipal under which non-residential activities are permitted in residential zones. First, shown on the screen above is the definition and criteria of a home occupation, which is permitted by right within all single-family residential zoning districts, if it meets the entirety of the definition listed above. Staff has assessed the use for conformance with criteria A through E and has come to the determination that this use does not meet the criteria for being defined as a home occupation and is therefore not allowed within residential zoning districts. Staff has also evaluated this use for conformance with section 6-347 residential business of the code, shown on the screen above. A residential business is a use requiring the issuance of a land use permit in all single-family residential zoning districts. To approve the permit, the activity must meet the entirety of the definition listed above, and the city must also make the 7 findings to approve a land use permit, which are described in Lafayette Municipal Code section 6-215. Approved land use permits are also subject to conditions of approval, which may impose parameters under which the use may operate. Staff believes it is doubtful that the findings listed above can be made. Staff has inquired and researched in other jurisdictions about this topic and learned that other jurisdictions also evaluate amenity rentals with similar sections of the municipal code. The staff report for this presentation includes a table summarizing the feedback from 11 other jurisdictions. The recommendation is to receive the presentation outlining the section of the Lafayette Municipal Code. Thank you. That concludes the presentation.
Thank you. Questions from council? Thank you so much for doing this work. I'm a bunch of people that came to make those comments. I live in that same neighborhood, and so thank you for listening to them and addressing these concerns. My question is that are we going to enforce this, or how do we notify people that we see on these sites, or is there a way for us to enforce this?
Good evening, council members. I'm happy to respond to that. The code enforcement procedure would be the same as we use for every other type of complaint. It would be complaint based. We would receive it and follow our typical procedures.
I'm curious. I did look with interest on the other cities and how they've handled it. Did you happen to just wondering if you go back to see if they just referring to the other existing ordinances about cities actually prevented people from listing their pools in those cities? If you had a chance to do that, because I know you said I noted whether you believe that they could get. I just want to get a chance to actually look to see if they were listed. So.
Both Marcy and I and city manager conducted our research. And I know I did ask for one jurisdiction that was really generous with their feedback, what they did in their case. If they asked them, if part of the code enforcement was to ask the property owner to remove the listing, and that's what they did. But that was the only jurisdiction that was engaging with me to that degree. They did require the property owner to unlist their property. Probably hard to monitor because remove it from the listing and then get back at the point, but that one jurisdiction required.
I may add as well that there was one jurisdiction who didn't realize that there were listings with the local properties. Then they checked with their city attorney. So most jurisdictions don't explicitly prohibit this kind of use, but they fall, these kinds of uses fall under home occupations of residential.
Right, and yeah, so I did look at the, just basic search, I just find that, I mean, Antioch, Campbell, Concord, and Danville, all have complete listings, even though their codes prohibit it. So I guess it is all about. I have a.
Okay, any other questions? All right, I'll take public comment.
Any member of the public wishing to make comment on item. I have no public comments at this time, Mayor Dawson.
Thank you. I'll bring it back for any discussion. Did you have comments you wanted to make?
Yeah, the only other thing, sorry, I wanted to follow up there, I did want to see if other cities. And just want to get a chance to Palm Springs, in mind, it was interesting, a couple of years ago, they went to their city tried to ban it under the existing code. There were like 5 listings. Simply pushed back pretty hard, saying it wasn't specifically, and then now we're over 20. So I guess I'm questioning whether just saying our existing code needs it without being very specific and make. I don't know how effective it's going to be.
Yeah. Well, following up on that, thank you very much for the email. I didn't get a chance to get back to you on that, but it's the director of planning designates this as a commercial recreation activity. Was that if you don't want this to happen, if it's specifically designated, which I understand that isn't then other recreational activities that are in the definition. This is not. If it is designated, then is it in residential areas?
Currently, the commercial recreational uses is a class of activity that's not allowed in residential district. So if the interpretation is that this type of use is part of that classification, then we would analyze it along those routes.
Okay, because my understanding from your email is that in looking at the ordinance that it has to be specifically called out by planning and the listing. Which isn't in the ordinance, it doesn't include uses.
Correct. The typical description of a commercial recreational use is more of a bowling alley, that sort of larger scale commercial recreation.
Tennis
as more the larger scale as opposed to the private or in your house. Maybe somewhere you're doing that.
And just another question, if someone were to, let's say, go on Vrbo or Airbnb, basically rent their house, but people who rent it are only using swimming pool, then there's no way to stop.
If they're advertising on the other platform, but not advertising for the residential unit, just the amenity?
No.
That wouldn't be, you wouldn't, the occupancy of the house wouldn't be 50 people. So I don't think that that would, to be the scale, right? Like they only rent for 58 people, right? Yeah, to get out of the contract. I guess, but- Maybe
someone wanted to get around the regulation, but he was thinking, could they do that by putting it on another site?
Not given that thought, so I don't know if others have doing that.
Well, I would have planned that those kind of sites, Airbnb and VRBO, they include that in their agreements when they put no parties, no use, that kind of thing. So that would be kind of contained access. And mess with their business model. Do we need to think about a little tighter that where we're going, kind of?
I mean, given, yeah, I guess that would be right, given the other jurisdictions that we've seen and how they're being handled in the HCF Act. I mean, we're not offspring. Maybe, and again, the restrictions, well, it's not specific convention. It seemed like we wanted to close it. Just listed as a use.
Any other opinions on that? Shoot, now I kind of lost what I was gonna say. No, are we gonna advertise this in our weekly roundup? Are we gonna say anything so people know that this is the normal code enforcement kind of quality, or an effort? Or are we not gonna advertise this?
I think we'll certainly take direction from the council, but to go to Councilmember Ador's question, whether the rental is partial or all included, and whether you're renting out your property for events, hosting weddings or film shoots on a regular basis, not narrow short term. All of those are subject to the use permits. There are facilities in the community that have obtained linked to host weddings, and the impacts from those uses are evaluated part of that from the process. That is how we handle it. And with this one exception, I don't think we haven't received other complaints about it. We can see if we continue to issue, we can take additional action. Given that thus far it's a one-off, we would just recommend continuing with the status quo that it is not use that is permitted under the residential districts. Vision discussed. Following up on that, I think that makes sense, but I also think it might be useful to put something in the weekly roundup. It says the council received a presentation. This is the state. If anyone ever asks, we can say yes, the council considered it, and something the city put something.
I would agree with that. That's great. Vice Chair, have any comment more on the record? Is having difficulty. Okay. So, I recommend that after you finish this, we can take a short break. Okay. See if the tank issue can be fixed. Okay, we'll do that. Thank you again for the presentation, the research. Great. I think it'll be great if you have follow-up in our patients. And other than that, we didn't get public comments. I guess we're done. Thank you. Thank you. And with that, we will take a little technical break for 5 minutes. We'll be back at 7:35.
benefit that we're offering. So if you cannot hear us, I welcome you to come here. If you want to give public comment, please come down to the city council. Okay, great. That, thank you especially to our meeting next for this next agenda item, which is the presentation with by Anatol for the Circle K. Thank you. I do have a presentation, hoping it will be able to be shared on the screen momentarily. My name is Anatol, I'm the superintendent of the city. This is the second city council hearing with this item, the appeal of the planning commission's denial of the for the land use permit at 3667 Mount Diablo Boulevard. To provide a brief recap, the property is located in the general commercial zoning district with an underlying land use designation of West End Commercial. This use prioritizes a mix of commercial, residential, and office uses. The project proposes to operate a convenience store in the currently vacant street level space. Originally proposed as a Circle K branded store, the applicant has further refined their proposal to instead create an independent upscale convenience market. The change to an independent, locally open, operated convenience store would be consistent with comments made by the public and commissioners that an independent shop, rather than a franchise, would be more of a service. The site shares a rear parking lot with the adjacent office building and another commercial building in the rear, which is currently vacant as well. So parking in the rear lot will be designated for employees and visitors only. The applicant proposes hours of operation from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. with up to 2 employees per shift. Staff recommends condition of approval as listed here, limiting hours of operation from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. This is consistent with another similar convenience market in the downtown. The applicant has addressed the two main concerns of the city council in the last meeting on July 22nd, regarding trash and recycling, as well as aesthetic rebranding. For trash and recycling pickups, the applicant proposes to use 6 total bins for pickup 2 days per week. This includes trash, recycling, and organics. Cardboard will be recycled separately, as the property owner is already in the practice of transporting the cardboard from their neighboring office business to the Concord Recycling Center. They will continue this practice with the additional cardboard from the convenience store. Bins will be taken to the curb for pickup using the owner's truck, which has a lift on the rear, bring them up to street level more efficiently and more safely, as shown in this photo provided by the applicant. The bins will be staged 4 at a time at the street level. When it comes to aesthetic and store branding, the store has been renamed Lafayette Family Market, not associated with either the Circle K or Castville brand. Supposed to be an independent store focused on providing convenient goods to the local community. This would include packaged foods, as well as reheated foods, specialty coffees, and similar beverages, ice cream, chocolates, wine, and dairy products, as listed in the memo attached to the report provided by the applicant. Staff analysis finds that with the conditions of approval to mitigate potential impacts, including reduced hours of operation, the project can make each of the required findings for approval. Responses to these findings are included in the draft of the resolution. In analyzing the proposal and all information available, staff finds that as further conditioned, the project can make the findings for approval and would not cause undue burden. This approval does include project-specific conditions, as I just mentioned, to aid in mitigating impacts from the new business use. This includes limiting the hours of operation, restricting delivery times, ensuring delivery drivers use the rear lot for deliveries,
keeping front windows free of posters and advertisements. These and other standard conditions of approval, staff recommends the city council find a project from CEQA and adopt resolution 2024-33 to approve the project subject to conditions. That concludes my brief presentation, but I'm available for any questions you might have. Yeah, thank you. And I want to assure the applicants, although I was not present for the first meeting in July, I have reviewed that meeting. And I want to thank Vice Mayor Clark for presiding over that public hearing. Is there any questions we have right now?
The question, I didn't see the changes, the conditional approval, there's bike storage, one condition that is not a bike parking. I'm just curious what changed. There's also plans, those are the bike.
I'm happy to clear that up. So the plans do show bike parking in the form of a bike rack in front of the store. Originally, staff had included a condition of approval to put bike parking in the store before that had been added to the plans. Because conditions of approval require the project to adhere to the plans, staff felt it was redundant to add an additional condition to place the bike parking at the front of the store while they show it.
Quick follow-up, is it a bike locker or a bike? Because I see bike storage on one place in the prison.
I believe bike rack would be preferable in general, what we would want to see there.
I would agree that's consistent.
So you leave it to you as to how we accomplish taking that on a position.
Yeah, I believe the plans don't differentiate specifically between bike locker and bike rack. It says bike parking at front of the store, and you want to
Office is bike locker. It's kind of rectangle, so it's kind of confusing. There are bike lockers. I don't think that.
With the nature of the convenience store being short duration trips, it would make more sense to have a bike rack. So, I don't know if that. Any questions? Yes, President, no.
No, I don't have any questions. Thank you for the staff report.
I hear you either, unfortunately. Okay, so and we. And you have the microphone.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Thank you.
Thank you. We were just asking if there was any questions. I'm not sure if you've heard the presentation.
Thank you. I have no questions, and I think that was good staff report. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
So I get one follow.
Yes, please.
There's a question about the review. Here again, customers, because in at the end of the letter, there were a variety of things they're talking about, ice cream and all sorts of things that I'm just gonna. I mean, there is going to be a pick up. They're not saying there's not going to be a need.
That's correct. I believe they are planning to have one organic recycling. And that, so there will be recycling, organics, and trash. And for those three, that's 6 bins. And that's, the delivery days are Tuesdays and Thursdays set up. Is organics, is there a double up on one of those pickups that you have in public? So for public services, representative, and while they may not be completely tied down to the Tuesday, Thursday pickup, we're going to work with the applicant. The pickup schedule, whether that would include the need to pick up organics, recycling things twice a week or several once a week. That's great. Mass Republic has been good with it. Thank you. Any other questions before we ask for comment? Okay, please. Let's have a comment. Oh, yes, I know. I welcome the applicant to come. You guys. You have 10 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Lafayette. Thanks for the project. Tonight we have the property owner and school present. It has any question. I'll start the presentation by reviewing the changes that we have on the project, and then I'll ask our council to continue the presentation. But before that, I would like to address the bike plan and the bike plan. Actually, our plans show both. The bike plans both can share.
I restarted the computer.
It's the bike
That's bugging me out. I'll log back.
You see the workstation presentation. Yes. And also we have a mic. So 2 bike racks for customers. 2 bike racks. Power presentation, yeah, page 2, thank you. The proposed store now is called Lafayette Family Market. It is a family owned and operated business. The owner decided to reflect the family owned and the local community nature of the business. Changes that we did to the site plan is we enlarged the load zone. Used to be 20 feet deep, now it's 25 feet. So now we can accommodate a larger truck and van delivery. And the delivery is going to be 2 to 4 tons. Regarding the trash, the approximate generation of trash for the store is less than 2 cubic yards per day. That's equal to 4 trash pots at 96 gallon. And the recycling will be half of it. And we're stacking the trash can at the south property line. And the owner truck will be hauling them to the sidewalk, and they will be maximum at 4 pots here at the sidewalk. And it's not going to impact the pedestrian on the sidewalk. And all the parts will be hauled back to its location after some. Would you be able to run the video? And this is going to show how we are planning to haul the parts. There is an arrow, if you can click on it. So there's a. Anyway, we had a video, we had a little clip. Yeah. So we have the truck hauling the parts up to the sidewalk. They will show you how the truck is going up the driveway with the issues. And also we show the location of stacking the parts on the sidewalk. Yeah. Next slide, please.
apologize. When I tried to play the video of the PowerPoint presentation.
Okay.
I didn't get it to work earlier. That's okay. We'll make sure you get your time over here. You should.
Isn't that very good? But anyway, this is illustration, and I also program to run the 24 people manual from Mount Diablo, the east, and entering the drive aisle to the loading zone, properly the loading zone, and the slide after with the same truck backing up and exiting up the drive aisle to Mount Diablo and heading east. Whatever the quality of the sort of showing this simulation. And next slide, please. Yeah, this is the floor plan, which shows at the top left corner the coffee area, and the bottom left corner will be the cashier. The middle will be the sales area. At the lower wall, the beverage counter, and we have a walking pool to the left, and behind it, the utility room. The second exit from the rear that has the lift is shown on the left. There's a couple of pictures and ideas of how the store should look on the inside. The store will be high quality, and market include high-end premium quality materials. We write the conditions of approval. We agree with all the conditions of approval. Except item number 8, which discusses the power of proclamation. The owner of the business would like to start because customers, people leave to work, they appreciate to grab a coffee, or a bite, on their way to work. So I'm not sure if we can. With that,
Good evening, council members, mayor and vice mayor, thank you for your time. I just want to point out that the goal here is to determine satisfied the 6 conditions required for the permit being applied for, and it really does. At the last meeting, there were a few concerns raised, and we have consistently, both prior to the last meeting, particularly from the last one to today, made sure that we address each of the concerns that were raised. One was the concern that was raised previously and discussed last time, was the fear, concern that Mount Diablo won't comply. You've addressed that with off-street delivery parking, as we have discussed. At the last meeting, there was the concern about how trash would be addressed. Legitimate concern was raised that has been that we have a plan for, that we presented here today, that staff has looked into and is satisfied with, and that addresses any of the health concerns that might have raised at the last one. The final concern that was raised was a concern, fear of the issues that might be that are perceived with urban liquor stores, and I want to make it absolutely clear that this is not an urban liquor store. This is it's a convenience market focused on providing coffee, food, prepared food, as well as a mix of. There will be a mix of beer and wine, but there will be no liquor. I want to reinforce that. And as we discussed, there will be no vaping products. This is not a liquor store, and it's not open all night. There's also no data that links convenience stores with higher crime. That concern was raised, but there really is no data. But in any event, this is not your an urban late night liquor store that So with that, there really is no evidence, there are no facts that militate against the making all findings required for the permit with the conditions that staff has supposed to do, subject to our request that the market open at 5 a.m. And then the reason really being the idea here is that we will serve the local residents, including folks who move into the condominiums that are being built across the street. If it's open at 5 a.m., folks, early risers on their way to work, on their way to park, could stop in for a quick coffee. It would be more convenient for them, more useful to them if it's open early. That's the only request we don't conditions of the law. Otherwise, we're ready for your questions.
Thank you. Councilman Perry, would like to start out.
Yeah, I have a quick question on the opening time. During our last meeting, the conditions approval was also stated in the staff report for 5. So I guess it's a question for both the applicant and staff. When the planning commission discussed this, was the proposal for 7 a.m. opening or 5 a.m. opening? And then why is it 5 a.m. in the staff report, 7 a.m. in the conditions?
The applicant's proposal has always been to open at 5 in the morning. I apologize if there was a typo in the staff report. Staff is recommending operation to begin at 7 a.m., which is consistent with the, I believe it's a quick stop downtown Lafayette that also is open from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m.
But was there comment at the planning commission meeting that led to that change? I'm just trying to get a background. So, 5 a.m. sounds reasonable, like coffee shops in the town that open at 5 a.m.
I don't recall any particular discussion other than potentially being next to a residential use, a multi-family next door, noise that would be created from either early morning or late night. That was discussed in the planning commission.
So we do have deliveries. Did you have any answer?
I just want to say that there's a lot of people who leave to work before 7 o'clock, so they will miss.
That's really good.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it. May, I'm concerned about the garbage. It is unfortunate that you need to track out the content of carbon recycling. We should know, public services charge for recycling. They're free too, so we want to encourage people to recycle if you don't have to, but I think that the geographic constraints of this space I think that necessary. Just a brief thing. So you showed again a couple of concepts. Are the pictures that you showed, is that how you actually envision the store looking, or is that just more conceptual look and feel of what you think it's going to be?
That's more conceptual. It's going to be all those things.
So just to confirm, we had this conversation last time, just to confirm, so are people eating on site or is everything kind of take up?
No consumption on site.
Even though, and you mentioned like a yogurt bar and things like that.
Everything is to go.
And I have, reviewed both planning commission meetings, and of course these, and I believe the hours was actually even the first plan. I think that was staff's initial mitigation or condition of planning commission. I don't think the hours were ever discussed, if I'm not mistaken, in the planning commission at all. I don't think. So that'd be the first time we're going to talk about the actual hours.
And so I appreciate the effort that you put into this, into your changes. The only remaining question is the liquor store aspect. That's not in the conditions of approval, right? Like it's not, like we don't say that they can only have beer and wine. So that's not in here. You're saying that you're not, I don't believe it's a big issue, but I appreciate your comments about it. Vice Mayor Clark, do you have any questions? Comments?
No, thank you. I don't have any questions for the applicant.
Okay. I want to say that I've listened to the last meeting and other meetings before this, and I am very impressed by the way you are mitigating the concerns of the community, let alone the commission and council as we are here now. It looks like you really thought about making this local, and even to the point of changing the name and looking for a product mix that would reflect that, a very localized convenience store for that end of town. So thank you for that. And I share our solid waste authority. So I share Councilmember McCormick, who's also part of that group, his concerns for the waste and recycling and how that is. And I know ultimately the solid waste authority is responsible for pickup time. So that was a concern that came up before about what if it's there all day. It's like, well, that's actually something we need to work on with our haulers. But I do wonder if you would reconsider the recycling with the public services. Just something to consider when you have those conversations. Because that's part of our goal too in the state law, that we try to minimize our recycling, well, maximize recycling, minimize our trash and separation for organics, which sounds like you will have.
Yeah, we don't have a problem.
Okay. Other than that, that's it for me. I just wanted to say that. So I think we'll move on now to conditions of approval. Yes, okay, I apologize a little bit. So public comment.
Mayor Dawson, I have a speaker's list here. The first speaker is Anne McGrath. Come to the podium. I can check. But he Good evening, everyone. My name is Anne McGrath Coleman. I am the owner of, first of all, let me say thank you, Mayor and the council, for being here and staff for what you do. But my name is Anne McGrath Coleman, and I am the owner of Diamond Cave with my brother. And our only concern is we left, and first of all, most of you better than all of you, but welcome, I'm the neighbor. What I want to say is we have a little concern with regard to the garbage. In that, we left off the last meeting, the issue was garbage. And I know they've got the 4 cans and it's twice a week, or however that works. However, that means that the garbage truck, whoever knows what time, will be coming down Mount Diablo, stopping. I mean, they have to stop and stop in this door to pick up all the garbage. And there's just a little traffic situation with that, you know what I mean? There's a little concern we have. Because they can't put down the side, unfortunately, because that's not big enough. And I know they're bringing it, but that garbage cans are going to be there. Just kind of a beauty issue. We've just done so much work on the sidewalks and beautification of Lafayette, and here we go. But that has to be for them to have the business there, I understand. But we just, as far as me personally, I'm just a little concerned about the garbage issue. And the cans out there all day or whatever. Twice a week they have to come by with the garbage company and block Mount Diablo Boulevard. It will be to get those cans in. I mean, how else do they do it? And that is our concern. But it sounds like a great one. I'll be there for that. Whatever, I mean, how much for our employees to have a cup of coffee in the morning. So, but the garbage issue is an issue. Just wanted to bring it to your attention, and how we can mitigate that would be wonderful. Thank you for your attention. Sorry, thank you.
Question.
No questions for you.
Oh, I just want to say, we'll be on behalf of the state, we want to thank Diamond Cave for all that you've done, such a valuable member of the community. And I appreciate, I think just the speaking you've done on this topic, it's been good. I mean, it's good to hear kind of your concerns and the fact that you appreciate them. And hopefully, as passed, we have good neighbors.
Right.
We can work together.
Thank you. We'd love to be a good neighbor. We're just been here for so long, Lafayette. We just want to make it right. It's so special to us. We just want to get it right. So thank you for all your efforts.
Thank you, and we share that sentiment.
Thank you.
Any more public comment?
Yes, I have the next speaker, and I'm not sure I'm gonna get the last name right, so the first name is Mike. Want to speak?
Thank you. My name is Mike Karian, and I am for our.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but the applicant team gets a total of 10 minutes. So your time is up.
Thank you.
Sorry. Okay. Thank you.
So is the next speaker Ronnie Crabtree part of the team as well? Well, I guess we don't get to speak.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Okay. Thank you.
I do have speakers with their hands raised in the virtual audience, and I'm going to start with Bill Grant. Oh, Cheryl McDonald first. Sorry, Bill. I'm going to take Cheryl McDonald in the meeting room first. Thank you, Cheryl.
Cheryl McDonald, Lafayette. Please let planning commission know, because I don't know if they're going to be listening tonight, but I wanted to thank the commission that we spoke upon it twice. They answered each one of our questions, and if there was a concern that was not addressed, they made sure that it was addressed. They felt listened to, and I just wanted to issue the flag up there. I don't really complain a lot, but I told that that was nice to hear. Saying that, the chair of the planning commission is someone that, like the industry of trucks, that was his expertise. So I just want to make sure that the truck does back down the driveway, and I don't really understand how we're going to guarantee that. I've heard that the neighbor is going to be there to watch it all day, but I wonder if we're going to do respect that. I hope you have the light, 6 days a week, and we don't know when the deliveries are going to be. So I would imagine they go on vacations and then maybe sick time, having their kids and grandkids. I'm just wondering how that's going to really truly be enforced, although I appreciate truly the efforts that they're trying to do it. I just don't understand how that is guaranteed. As the planning commissioner chair said, quick in and out is what they like to do the best if they can aware of it. And so that is someone that has a president, not a driver as his expertise. So I just want to know how that's going to truly enforced. Public safety was, so the planning commission debated very hard, as you have heard. They debated very hard for 2 meetings. One I heard a little bit of, and the second one we were all there for. And very passionate, thoughtful, and they were very concerned about Amenity. And I'm wondering, I haven't heard the council talk very much about the planning commission's viewpoints on Amenity and addressing those in your comments. I don't think we heard that last time. So I don't think we felt heard. And then Trudy brought up a lot about crime. So I am closer, closer to the 7-Eleven. And so they have been robbed at gunpoint 3 times. And so they talk about those statistics. Well, part of the town has some statistics. And I'm not saying that it's not going to never happen again. I'm just saying that we've had some issues. It's only convenience stores, could be other places Safeway has issues. So I'm just wondering, I don't agree with that one comment, but there are no statistics, like Lafayette has a little bit. So I just wanted you to, if you guys have and address those issues so that we out in the public will understand their positions as you're going through this.
Comments, I'm waiting for the bell to ring. Okay. I'm sorry, Cheryl, your comments are, you're 30 seconds over already. Sorry. Yeah, thank you.
I have a question.
One second.
You say A&E?
That's what I recall, the 2 issues that the planning.
Oh, those were the ones that they had troubles with. Thank you very much. I thought it was okay.
I watched for the bell.
Items A and E. Got it. Thank you. Thank you, Cheryl. Any other comments in the room? Oh, did you fill out a yellow form? You can come on up, okay. And then just make sure you turn it in.
Our speaker is Paula.
Yes. I appreciated Ms. McDonald's comments and the presentations tonight, but I would again underscore the issue of what was raised by the Planning Commission and the concerns they have. I do not think they've been allayed tonight with some of these purported modifications proposed. Number one, the residents of the Association Lafayette Mountain View Homeowners Association continue to object in spite of what was added tonight and apparently changed. Their concerns, again, the crime issues were not addressed, I don't think, adequately tonight. I think the applicant, by just stating that there is no data to support it, I think flies in the face of certain things that we all know by just reading the paper and being aware of our surroundings. That is a concern, again, that has not been allayed. It is a concern because our properties abut this proposed business. And then just a question that I have, and I'm not sure what the format is here. I'm not familiar with some of the local practices, but if I could be advised in terms of what the modification is, a change of land use or use of this particular building that has historically been zoned or considered office. That is a significant change, and it seems to me that the reasons for a proposed change, again, have not been adequately addressed by the staff report. And the issues raised by the Planning Commission have been disregarded, in my mind, rather arbitrarily. It seems rather ad hoc to change the use of a building historically deemed office in an area, a zone of Lafayette, the West End, that has historically been residential office only on Louisa Road, notwithstanding the reservoir. But as you come into Lafayette, up until Mountain View Drive, that corner, there are no retail businesses to speak of. And I really don't understand why this particular location is sort of open for a change that would significantly, again, alter the character of this residential area. Significantly residential. It may be under a guise of commercial, but under some subcategories, it has been office, again, residential. Not enough information here, not enough data has been supplied to support change in the land use. And the concerns, again, of the homeowners and residents in the area, I think should not be disregarded by the council. And I would ask you to seriously reconsider again the recommendation of the Planning Commission and be persuaded by that as opposed to sort of what we have heard freely without data tonight.
Thank you, Paul. Any other comments?
We are going to go to the persons in our Zoom meeting, and I will start with Bill McGrath. You can unmute yourself.
Hello, can you hear me, please? Can you hear me?
No, we
Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, unfortunately, that does not seem to be working.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Andy? Go ahead, Andy.
I can hear Bill fine.
Yeah.
We inform the Zoom audience that we do not have the ability to allow you to speak this evening. As the mayor previously said, this is a courtesy, not a requirement. So I'm afraid we won't be able to hear from you.
Can I speak?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Joanne, for that. And again, if you're in the area, we welcome you to come down, but we're writing your comments in. But right now, we cannot accept remote public comment. Okay, with that, I will, oh, a rebuttal. Yeah, yes, rebuttal is that 5 minutes? 5 minutes, something? Thank you. Would you like to respond to any of the comments that were presented now?
All right, regarding the delivery truck, we have a loading zone which we enlarged to 25 feet long, so there is no reason for the delivery truck to stop on 9/11 whatsoever. So that's answer. Regarding the stacking of the garbage and recycling, is going to be 4 cars max at the back of sidewalk. And I noticed that this is a standard in the city of Lafayette and most of the pickup schedule. I've seen that. I took a picture and send it to the city. Regarding the changing of the zoning, the property is commercial, we do not change it. In fact, our neighbors, retail, so there is a point here, 8.8 resolution anyway. It's 6 years.
I'll start by noting that I think the process that we've gone through and the changes we have made reflect that we have been listening. We've been listening to the community, we've been listening to the planning commission's concerns, and listening to the council. We really have taken that to heart. Of course, with regard to the planning commission, as the council knows, this is a demo hearing, so we're new. We've had our discussions here, which again I think there has been a very good give and take in responsiveness. One last one with regard to plan is that at the last hearing, staff noted that they no concerns with regard to this use in this location with respect to plan. I think that's perhaps the most important data point that we've got in that respect. And then I will just echo Mr. Ibrahim's point with regard to zoning. As you all know, this proposed use is permitted within the existing zoning. And in fact, if you look at the row of stores, you've got John K, there's one office, one client, proposed store, and then you've got the 360-degree burritos, a coffee shop, and a restaurant before that intersection. So it's really consistent with the existing use.
Thank you. There's 2 more minutes of the rebuttal. Anybody?
Hello. Thank you for your time. My name is Ronnie Crabtree, and we're excited about this project as Lafayette Family Market, and as part of re-envisioning this, they tasked me as someone who's experienced. I used to work for Draeger's Markets and 25 years in specialty grocery, and will be in charge of procuring a lot of natural foods and really hyper local. So I think the idea of crime, this is just another local family-owned store that will really mesh well with the community. So I think it'll be a great addition to that, to the West End. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Yes, you have a question.
I do have a question. It was mentioned that there's the community kind of opposition. Have you guys has been outreach directly to neighbors to talk about their concerns, or has the conversation just been through these city meetings and planning commission?
We have not done any other outreach. The conversation has been through these meetings and the correspondence that has been exchanged. And I do want to add to this, we did meet with the owners of the previously, but we have not had meetings with folks who live down
A question on the potential for blockage with deliveries. I appreciate what you've done in terms of enlarging in the back. That's great. But one of the speakers mentioned that a big emphasis commissioners with trucks stopping in front of businesses. We certainly see this happen in Lafayette. And I'm just wondering, can you commit to us tonight that you will do everything you can to prevent that? Because we all know that people are deliveries are gonna stop out in front, someone's gonna run in and say, I'm only gonna be here 2 minutes, let me do this. People who are operating the store are going to be authorized to tell them, no, you can't do that.
And mine is, they're only with a business and yes, and, I've been told before that if a vendor does not follow the rules, he will get replaced. So that's a commitment from the owner.
Thank you very much.
The owners right here, this is the ownership team, they will be in the office building right next door, which is a big glass window facing Mount Diablo. Any vendor who breaks the rule, they'll see it happen.
Well, appreciate that, but I know there's times when people aren't looking out the window and things like that. We just need to have some assurance, and I asked staff also, discussed this the last time, what the recourse is in the city.
If I may also add to this, as the marketing person of the group, I will be setting accounts with our vendors and suppliers. I will make sure that I put that on the application that this is a requirement, and under no circumstances it will be allowed.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Koch, do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions at this time.
Okay. I do not have questions right now, but I just want to comment that maybe we do want to look at that as, basically, we know other trucks stop on Mount Diablo, and it is a question of enforcement. So, thank you for those assurances, but obviously, just like our enforcement, you don't know until maybe there's a complaint that maybe something got missed. If it's in line at all with these assurances, because there is obviously a set in the back for deliveries. If we, well, I guess, I don't know if we can do this, but consider if there's a certain number of complaints received, if then that becomes approval. Okay, it is a condition of approval, item 9. Oh, it is 9 already, yes. And it's an ongoing condition that if they start violation, then, okay, that's already in there. Okay, it's already in there. Okay. Then in that case, I have no other comments, but welcome discussion as to where we want to go next. Probably should discuss the time change, because that's the biggest change here. The 5 to 11 as opposed to the 7 to 11 that is currently in commission approval. Councilmember Dury, you brought up there are other shops that are open earlier. So did you limit, were you making a distinction?
No, I was just trying to figure out how this is.
I see.
No, we did not discuss it. No, I think it was almost preemptive. I think the original proposal of 5 a.m. to 1 a.m. was good. Overwhelming. I think the reaction was shrink it.
I wonder when that happened, because our staff report or last performance at 5 o'clock.
Yes, I believe the planning commission was. We get confirmation. So may have just been a typo. Is that what we're doing?
I believe it was. I apologize. Director Wolf, do you have a comment?
Well, my recollection is that staff has been consistent in representing that the applicant has proposed initially 5 a.m. and I think initially it was till 1 a.m. And then they revised the closure time back. But staff has been consistent in the conditions of approval in limiting that time to start time. So not that accepting during start time, but because of the adjacencies and potential nuisance surrounding that early start time is 7 a.m. start time. So, but that is our recommendation. Certainly, this evening, I think it's the planning commission as well.
The recommendation to go to 7 is because of perceived nuisance during the 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. I'm sorry, I misunderstood your comment.
Yeah, it is immediately adjacent to multifamily residential and adjacencies of deliveries and activities early in the morning when residents typically sleep. So noise issues clearly in the morning. And that's the recommendation. Start at 7.
Right, and we believe, given the proximity of the building right around it, that would be a concern. Because we're already restricting deliveries 7. But we're thinking just a general commerce opening up and everything would be considered nuisance.
That's staff's recommendation, yes.
So just to make sure I understand it, up until this meeting, the applicant's understanding has been that the staff recommendation is 7. And when the planning commission discussed it at their meetings, the staff recommendation was 7. And during those meetings, did the applicant come in and at the podium or otherwise ask for 5? Okay, so I think they're foreclosed. Well, if this is the first time it's being raised, we can consider it. But to me, it's a little bit different than if it was raised.
Does the applicant agree with that assessment?
Well, I'm not saying how I would vote on it.
But this is the first time that you've actually voiced it.
Our original application to start at 5 a.m.
Correct. But
Then it got changed by the condition of approval and to 7. And we did not ask.
So you haven't
Right,
pushed back until tonight.
Yeah, tonight. Everything is got resolved and we think that's gonna complete the picture for us.
Thank you.
Make it successful.
Thank you. Okay. So then, yes, we should discuss that because Dad's request is different from what our condition of approval is. I think of it as the 5 a.m. start and having no experience with this, but there are similar stores where people may be driving up and entering the front door open at the same time. I'm not sure how disruptive that is, especially if they're in the same area. And I'm just wondering if it's condition of the business that we're kind of looking at convenience stores saying, okay, it's I welcome any comment on the assessment.
Well, I think that's what the problem.
Oh, it's Mayor Clark.
I have a point of order. Has the public hearing closed and are we moving on to discussion or?
Thank you. The public hearing has been closed since public comment. So yes, officially now we're going to. So thank you, Vice Mayor Clark. And Mayor, just that you did it.
Can you hear me now clearly?
Yes, I can hear you quite well.
Okay. And are we moving to the discussion point?
We're in discussion point, and thank you. I'm officially closing the public hearing. So thank you for pointing that out, and we are back into discussion.
Okay, because I would like to then make an ex parte disclosure before we commence the discussions, if that's okay, if you can hear me clearly.
Yes, please.
And I would like to disclose that after our July 22nd meeting with the City Council on Monday, I met on July 26th, Friday, with the applicant at the site because I was interested to go to the site and learn more about the conditions there. I met with Mike Amenity, the owner of Gosco. I met with the architect, Mr. Abraham, and with the second Mike that is present today. We met outside the site and did not go inside, but we went to that parking lot and discussed 4 items. Item number 1, we discussed the narrow driveway, that's condition of approval number 10. And the architect discussed whether or not it might be possible to expand the width of the driveway by 6 to 12 inches by removing brick pillar near the street sidewalk at the top. We discussed the second point about trash and recycling and the volume of garbage and recycling, specifically the amount of scrap cardboard that would be produced by the applicant. And the applicant said that they would actually not plan to put the sidewalk on the sidewalk for public services, but they would be able to sell that. So they would be, as was placed in the staff report and explained there, that would not go up on the sidewalk. We also talked about how they would move the black and blue bins up in lieu of if they did not have to go through the store. They talked about a truck with a lift gate that they're using for their current Bosco, bringing things up that hill, and they suggested they could use that same truck to bring the convenience store bins up the hill. I suggested that they present a photo of that truck and explanation to staff in advance of today's meeting, and I'm glad to see that it was incorporated in the report so that we can better understand whether this was an acceptable method of moving the garbage and blue bins up to the top of the hill. The third item we discussed was their operating hours, which the staff suggests from 7 to 11, and I asked them to clarify if that was acceptable. The applicant requested it, and it mentioned that for a convenience store, that the 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. operating hours are a very important part of their business model because they try to open when other businesses are not open in order to cater to early risers. The last topic we discussed was the mention of their brand name, Fast Fill, which they said was a placeholder and that they would explore other brand names to present in the near future. And I see that they had done it in this meeting. I would also like to disclose that yesterday I spoke as a follow-up, having read the staff report and still seeing the 7 a.m. till 11 p.m. timing. I asked for clarification whether the applicant was interested in keeping 7 to 11 or whether they wanted to ask for a 5 a.m. opening, and they confirmed they are still interested in a 5 a.m. opening. So that completes my ex parte disclosure.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Clark. That was a clear and extensive disclosure, and it sounds like a good conversations as well. So thank you, and the applicants. Okay, so we'll come back to that question then of the start time. Go ahead.
So I was, actually, I was a little surprised seeing the 7 a.m. even for the very beginning, because convenience store would make sense to be open earlier. However, I guess I am, and I really appreciate the change we made. I am a little concerned, given the proximity of the residences right around this location, and even in our business, people kind of coming up, people getting in there, opening the business, people pulling up with cars, going into a business, leaving, there's talking, there's just the general starting of the day. It would be, I worry it would be noticeable and disruptive to the residents that are literally 15, 20 feet from the entrance to the store. I don't know how to predict what it would be. I guess it would be, I don't be unfair saying, well, let's see how the business works. 7 a.m. and see if they would welcome potentially earlier time, but I don't know. I'm just finding that it feels it's very tight in there. It's very close with the residences.
Well, I think it would be hard for us to approve 5 a.m. this evening. And that has not been something that I can understand the applicant put that in the original application, but it hasn't been something the applicant has pushed for either at the planning commission or in our last meeting, which means the public hasn't had an opportunity to specifically comment on that. So I guess a question for staff is, after a while and it being in operation, can they come back and ask for an earlier opening time of change in the condition of approval? I don't want to hold up further action to
They can come back and request a modification to the hours of operation or any other condition of approval.
So, Greg, you said that you have experience with the early start times. Can you help explain to us what those experiences are?
I think it's fair to summarize them as noise complaints by residents that are in close proximity to commercial operations.
Is that specific to this location or just downtown?
Not specific to this location. The prior use heretofore has been an office building, and people, occupants show up at 7:38, 9 o'clock, and it's a quiet exercise. So we anticipate, based on that applicant's testimony, a lot of coming and going. And while we would, were this a different location where this adjacency were not the case, if this were located by the quick stop downtown, we would support the 5 a.m. It is simply a foreseeable issue that the city will then have to be contending with if there are noise complaints.
So thank you very much, given that description. And it's just that narrow driveway. The residents are just on that side of the driveway. And so with that consideration and the fact that the public only heard about this today, it is, I don't think the public is going to, as part of a public hearing, that would be very, I don't even know if we can. We probably could, but it's very unusual within the practice of Lafayette, as a city council, that we would not have, we would vote on an item that the public had never even heard of that night. And so I apologize, I'm sorry that is the way that I view this, but it is the way that we typically do business. And so given the opportunity that you can come back later with other ideas, you can.
Well, I agree with that. We do have a tradition of obviously engaging the public and being transparent with the information here. And with this condition is noted as 7 to 11. That being said, I would encourage you to come back. So I do believe, in a way, this is about Diablo business. And there are many new residents that are coming in right across the street and even possibly down the road that, we're making opportunity sites all over this area, which will naturally increase the noise and traffic regardless, and to burden one nascent proposed business without, when that will be the case as more houses are built directly on Mount Diablo. I don't know if that's a good precedent to set that.
I think it's fair. I just, I did, thinking about this comment, actually, ironically, before I mentioned it, I did look at, the opening times on and every other place, Trader Joe's, the coffee place, everything's 7 a.m. along that strip. So it's almost more consistent to keep it at 7, which is the same as all the businesses, see how it goes, and then you feel a little bit of oh, and see, because it's already conditioned, we're already changing the time anyway, right? So, yeah, not to mention, I think that's another thing else, a lack of public awareness of this change. That could have, imagine, members of the public would have spoken pretty substantially about this. That was being very open.
I am mindful of that, sure, and that's the reason why I would not press now for us changing this condition of approval. Because it is something we would consider later, and this is a different type of business that's coming in than the others on the block. So, in all fairness, I don't think we can compare that apples and oranges either. So, with that, how are we with everything else? Can go through the changes. Choose the changes of conditions of approval, or we can, if there are now dissension from what has been changed within the document, we can look to move forward with this. So,
the only thing I would do is staff has offered that we would return conditional approval 12, which is calls out report, bicycle report.
Yes.
And I think the applicant indicated they're planning for 2 types of bicycle parking. Or in my mind, if they decide on just one, that's fine. As long as there's some bicycle parking.
Yes, thank you for that, because as noted, it wasn't necessarily listed on the plan, it was different from what had been there before, and you mentioned employees would have a bike locker opportunity and bike racks up front. So perhaps it might be good, since it's not specified on the plans, if that's what you're offering, to put that on to condition approval. Thank you for that.
Yes, the one comment on that, I would actually, I love the idea of the bike lockers for employees to bike to work. That's phenomenal.
That's great.
My impression of bike lockers, and again, I will say it's only from the bike parking lockers, they are not particularly attractive. And they're just big square things because they have to secure the bike. Maybe those could be around the back and have just the bike racks that would be suitable for the middle school, whoever else is going to bike there, for the quick in and out, just a simple low profile bike rack that would not impede windows, would not impede visibility of the building. I think be more attractive and conducive to what's in on Mount Diablo, and maybe bike lockers for long-term employee kind of thing would be better around the side and back. Especially if you have a fairly large back area.
That was what was proposed.
Was it? It's unclear, actually.
Well, in the verbal.
The verbal, I know, but not in the plan. So I guess just making sure I'm making that explicit.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. That's, I think, Anna has that. Okay. Any other?
Is it possible, is it acceptable view to have the bike lockers in the back?
Yes, we can.
Oh, that's great. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank
One of the things that I really like about the discussion of conditional approval. We learned from experience, we learned from our experience that it really helps if you have a clear view into the store. So, thank you.
So just for clarification, sorry. So the bike racks in the front, I don't think we're requiring them to have bike storage. They're saying, well, we would, if they do bike storage, we're at the back. But we're not going to put that they have to have bike storage in the back.
No, just a request, because
a request. That's what I want to make sure that
because again, I think
required.
I'm going to touch on Councilor Gary's position. The conditions are, where we have no sign, no signage in the back, no neon, and a clear view of the store are all very positive, I think, toward the hopefully mitigating people's concerns and look good. So that was a thought. Let's keep that spirit of that moving and not have a bike locker.
I just want to ask, on condition 11, we have then shall not be left on the street outside the 24-hour period leading up to and after pickup. I just want to clarify, I did call Republic today just to ask a little bit more about their pickup schedules and if they've had any issues with lack of pickup. We've had other different residential issues where we've had missed pickups. I don't think that happens on Mount Diablo as much, but I wanted to confirm that. Because I think that's a service issue. And if we ask, I don't know what the other businesses are doing, I'm sure they might want to take back garbage if it's missed. But I just want to point out that I don't know if we can make this specific to this business if we aren't other businesses who also are serviced by Republic. Well, I should say, bar haulers, whoever they might be. So do you have comments on that? Obviously you wouldn't want those out there longer than they need to be. So if there's an issue, you can probably pull them back. But just to note, I'm just not sure if it should be a condition of approval or if that matters.
Sure. Yeah, honestly, our business public is before we open, it could be sometimes early afternoon. So we are a little bit I guess the condition would probably be, which hopefully is the case, you take them off of the street as soon as practicable.
Yeah.
That's all I can really say. At 24 hours.
Yeah, I know, that's kind of like, and who's enforcing that? So maybe that's it, as soon as practicable. Oh, yes, please.
And just to speak to the nature of the condition, there's significant discussion at the Planning Commission and Council about how waste and recycling would be handled. And so I won't go back over all of that, but the intention was that this is the conditions under which the applicant would behave. If there is a service issue with Republic and we communicated with the property owner or operator about that is beyond their control, and so we would not continue enforcement action on them because of something that's beyond their control. So it's really just.
Exactly, that's what I was thinking about that, it's beyond their control. So we're just saying with this condition, whether or not trash is picked up, it won't be out there for 24-hour period. Is that basically what this is?
It's essentially saying that under normal operations, the business operator will
just
comply with the conditions of approval. If there is an anomaly in the service issue, we can certainly accommodate that.
That makes sense.
And through the court enforcement process and say, thank you, you did everything you could as the business operator. It was beyond your control.
Okay, and if that's the case, then I think that text is okay.
And while I am on mic, I will offer condition number 9, speaks to deliveries and blockage of traffic lanes. So as not to adjudicate whether or not the truck parked in front actually blocked traffic, we would revise that those 2 words to just be delivered, so that it would read that delivery trucks shall not park, delivery trucks shall park in the rear and shall not deliver in front of the store. And that way it is clear. Stop, park, or deliver.
Park for delivery, oh gosh, sorry, I said roughly that. Park for delivery, okay. Okay, so let's just do a quick, just to commit. We covered window transparency, that is okay. Discovered hours of operation, deliveries, little text changes, drive aisle, will be signage, and then trash and recycling we covered, and we added back bike racks. Okay, but those were the conditions. And then there's renumbering are the other changes. Okay.
And then Mayor Dawson and Council, our takeaway from the discussion and direction is that bike racks are supported and required in front of the building. If they so choose to provide bike lockers, they would not be in front of the building, they would be at the rear of the building.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other comments on the conditions? Not. Can we look your way? If not, then are we ready to make a decision? So we're ready?
Okay. I'll move that we find the project exempt from CEQA and adopt resolution 2024-33, upholding the appeal and approving the project subject to the conditions as revised to CEQA.
A second. I will take a roll call vote. Vice Mayor Clark.
Aye.
Councilmember Candell. Aye. Councilmember Adjournment.
Aye.
Councilmember McCormick.
Aye.
And I am an aye. It is unanimous. And I want to thank you for your accommodations, and I want to wish you great luck. I appreciate your investment in this business and for the community. Thank you very much.
Welcome to Lafayette.
Yeah, welcome. And I also want to thank again the all the commissions, the planning commission for, yes, they're very considerate discussion, all the comments and the passion from businesses as well as residents. Thank you very much for this informed decision making. Appreciate it. All right, and we'll move on. No, thank you. And Sonia, thank you, Dr. Wolf. No items have been removed from the consent calendar, so we'll move on to council and commission reports. Is there anything a councilor would like to report? No, anybody? Joe? I do want to report on a really great meeting that, Councilmember Andrew and I had with Candace Anderson and Donna Walker about the fire satellites. And so we met with Dawn and then decided we need to go to the county, right? And so there's like a two-pronged approach for these. It's called FireSat, and they're going to launch 3 of these satellites. It's already being privately funded, no public things. Just like the methane satellites, remember the methane detected satellites that went up? They were all privately funded. So these wildfire satellites are going to be an absolute, game changer in terms of how we can respond to fires. And so the concept that we're trying to pursue, who knows if this is going to work, is that the people making these satellites are going to go from the top down from the governor, and we're going to try to go from the bottom up, from us through Candace with her actually pretty enthusiastic support. It went about as well as we could possibly do, and to try to please get the Loma Linda to be a pilot for these satellites, right? And see if there is some way that we can, work that through with them and get. She's pledging Confire. We figure that MOFT is going to be delighted as well. So I wish us luck. And then please, go ahead.
Well, just one other thing. This is the whole instant ignition detection, instant response. And the other great news that we learned, this is the instant ignition detection. The county, the Board of Supervisors at the end of August authorized Confire to enter into a contract for helicopter service to be based in, I think it's in Byron, to serve the county. So that gives us more instant response capability. That was very exciting because you may know Confire had asked for Measure X funding for a hangar at Buchanan. That was the first step towards filling the hangar with the helicopter, and that wasn't accepted. So we thought maybe that wasn't going to go ahead. But this was great news to hear that now there's an extra helicopter to service. But ideally there'd be one that would be during fire season even more accessible for Loma Linda, since we're really the most threatened area.
That's great news. Thank you both for that. Any other announcements? No? Okay. Well, let's see here. We cleared out the room, I guess. Let's see. We are at, then we move on to the city's sign-up booth for the Art and Wine Festival. And how do we normally do this? Do we just pass it around, or are we actually going to sign up right now? Oh, we are passing it around right now. So,
okay, so we were going to pass it, then. Okay.
Okay. And I have to say, I'm really sorry. I might be out of the country starting on Sunday. I'm going to miss Art and Wine and our council meeting.
I'm guessing you're not too sorry.
This trip is not going to be very fun. It's going to be a lot of work. Well, that's too bad. I'll be over 2 weeks. We'll at least think about you when we go around and stuff.
Okay. I'm available at any of those times, so you could just add me in there after fill in some blanks. You can fill in for 2 or 3 classes.
Okay, then.
I'm available those days and looking forward to it.
Yeah, is there an issue with multiple ones of us signing up for the same blocks being available? Well, how did the mayor not get dibs? I'm just kidding. Okay, well, I'll pass this on since I guess and which I'll talk about going in. Okay, so why don't we? Okay, thank you. We'll move on to Councilmember Proclamations, appointing members to the Youth Commission.
Great. I'm happy to report on this item 15C, the Lafayette Youth Commission. Is a commission composed of 15 members of our youth, and there are 4 vacancies on the commission now. Councilmember McCormick and I, as the two chairs and staff, we interviewed candidates, and we would like to recommend 4 appointments today. They are Zoe Bronstein, Yvonne Kupa, Maya Shinneman, Annabelle Trevonich. They're all very impressive candidates. Really exciting to see and gratifying to see the youth in our community wanting to get involved, do new things, try new things, and we would highly and strongly recommend these 4 candidates to fill the 4 vacancies.
Thank you. Any comments or questions about that? Okay.
No, I will just say I did attend all the interviews, and they're just phenomenal young people. It was very exciting and gives us hope because they are just go-getters. It's great. And their commission will be fully at 15 again, and they're all committed to trying to take on more activities in the coming year. So it's terrific.
That's wonderful. Yeah, having served on the youth commission as liaison, it is such passion, great energy, and having seen the resumes on here, it's just, wow. Okay, they're pretty impressive. So would either of you like to make a motion?
I'm not. Why you go ahead?
The Councilmember McCormick motion, I can be a second.
I'll make a motion to nominate or appoint the 4 members specified by Councilmember Flock to the Youth Commission.
Okay, I'll second that.
By adopting resolution 2024-35. Thank you.
Okay, so your motion and a second by Vice Mayor Clark. Vice Mayor Clark will take a vote. Vice Mayor Clark?
Aye.
Councilmember Andrew. Oh, yes. I'm trying to go into order. Kendall. Aye. Councilmember Dury.
Aye.
And Councilmember McCormick.
Aye.
And I am an aye. So welcome to the new youth commissioners. Wonderful. Now we will move to written communications, and there is an email from Cameron Hoffman requesting a proclamation recognizing Energy Efficiency Day on October 2nd. So if there's any questions, comments, doesn't look like it. Would anyone like to make a motion on this?
Okay. 24 is Energy Efficiency Day in Lafayette.
I second. Thank you.
I'll second that.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Second that. Maybe I'll make a comment because I'm sorry I cannot
Please.
be with you all today. I'm in a solar conference down in Southern California, the biggest conference in the United States this week. And in this conference, we talk not about watts or kilowatts or megawatts. We try to generate some renewable energy. But this proclamation talks about something that's not megawatts, but megawatts with an N as in Nancy, to try to reduce our use of energy. And that is as valuable as increasing our production of clean energy is reducing unneeded energy through energy efficiency measures like installation and better use of appliances and so forth. So I do think this is quite a meaningful date and proclamation to speak about, and so fully endorsing and glad to see it before us.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I will note that the ETF also recommended this after it came through Councilmember Ndori. So thank you for that last year, and now we can actually get it in motion. So with a motion and a second, okay, do I have to take a vote for this, or can I do an aye? Okay. Well, oh, we have subject. Okay. Roll call. Vice Mayor Clark.
Aye.
Councilmember Kendall. Aye. Councilmember Ndori.
Aye.
Councilmember McCormick.
Aye.
An aye. So October 2nd is officially Energy Efficiency Day in Lafayette. The next is an email received from Karen Pinkos, City Manager Del Cerrito, requesting a proclamation declaring September 21 through 27th this year is United Against Hate Week in Lafayette. Any questions or comments? I look for a motion on this. I move we approve the proclamation declaring September 21st and 27th as United Against Hate Week in Lafayette.
I'll second that.
Thank you. We'll take a roll call vote. Vice Mayor Clark.
Aye.
Councilmember Kendall. Aye. Councilmember Adjari.
Aye.
Councilmember McCormick. Aye. And I am an aye. And this is especially significant in light of things that have been happening recently and right in our town. So thank you, Karen, for bringing this to our back to us for this. So that is passed. September 21st, 27th is United Against Hate Week in Lafayette. Let's see, there's a few more here. So item 16B, email from Victoria Briskin, Development Director for Early Alert Canines, is requesting a proclamation recognized September as Service Dog Awareness Month in Lafayette. Are there comments or questions about this item or otherwise a motion? Okay,
Just a comment, I note that they received a grant from the Lafayette Community Foundation.
well, thank you.
According to this letter, so they're on our radar.
Wonderful. Thank you for putting that out. That's great to hear.
So I'll move that we approve the proclamation recognize September as Service Dog Awareness Month in Lafayette.
And a second? Thank you. We'll call vote. Vice Mayor Clark.
Aye.
Councilmember Kendall. Aye. Councilmember Adjari.
Aye.
Councilmember McCormick.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. So wonderful. Service Dog Awareness Month in Lafayette this month, September. And item 16C, an email from Radha Ram on behalf of the Neve Ronald Foundation requesting a proclamation recognizing this month, September, as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in Lafayette. And received a very moving letter on that. And are there questions, comments, or otherwise a motion? I move that we approve the proclamation recognizing September as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in Lafayette.
And I'll second that.
Thank you both. A roll call vote, Vice Mayor Clark.
Aye.
Councilmember Kendall. Aye. Councilmember Adjari.
Aye.
Councilmember McCormick.
Aye.
And I am an aye. This month is also Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in Lafayette. And I do want to note, I just want to see here. There's a lot of months going on. This is also September Be Kind in Lafayette for these first 21 days. And it's also Hispanic Heritage Month, which begins September 15th through October 15th. And that is via our resolution 2023-02 that was passed actually in January 2022. So with that, I believe we are at the end of the agenda. So we are adjourned. Yay. Thank you, Waitai, for being present for this. That was meaningful, and for all your feedback on the earlier item. Okay, guys, thank you. Thank you. Still kind of dinner time, so I can eat that pizza that I stuck in the fridge. Okay, so